Hey guys, what's up? Loco here. This is part 2 of my LCS mid-season check-in. If you haven't checked out my part 1, the video should be somewhere here. Editor should have done his job. Make sure you click it. And yeah, go watch part 1 first. So, if you already watched part 1, let's get started with the video. Now, in part 2, we're going to start with what I like to call the lackluster cluster, or Mark Z soup of LCS teams. These are the teams that are all tied at 4 and 6. There are actually 4 of these teams right now, so yeah, let's get started. The first team we have is Evil Genius. They're currently sitting at 4 and 6. I think they are pretty much what I expected out of them. The side lanes are weak when it comes to laning, and people might be surprised to hear that out of the bot lane, because it's Bang and Zeyzal, right? These players have been proven on other teams, Bang with SKT, Zeyzal with C9, but here's some stats for you. Bang averages 1.2 CS differential at 10, and Zeyzal averages +4 goal differential at 10 minutes. So yeah, their early game stats are actually very, very mediocre. Here's what you need to understand about Bang and Zeyzal. Their roles in SKT and C9 respectively were never to be lane dominant. Zeyzal built his leads by roaming and working with Sven, and he was a great engager in team fights. Bang was a consistent, not a dominant laner, and he actually played with Giga Monster carries in the solo lanes like Marin, Huni, Faker, and he really made his name as a team fighter. And for the top side of the map, Kumo is dead last when it comes to goal differential at 10 at -119, and he's not a solid laner, nor is he a win condition for EG. Where they are strong is Sven and Zizuke. They're really the backbone for this team. Either they build the lead and keep the team afloat going into mid game, or they don't have leads anywhere on the map. The other 3 members do come online in the later half of the game, and they do their jobs in team fights. But yeah, it's going to be really hard to see EG move out of the cluster with how bad their early game is and how reliant they are on Sven and Zizuke. Now we have Team Liquid. This one's really interesting. They're also in the cluster at 4 and 6. Anyone that hasn't been watching 2020 LCS and that just came back are going to be like, whoa, I heard TL upgraded with Broxa. What the hell is happening? How are they 4 and 6? And yeah. So there's been a lot of thought thrown around why Team Liquid is bad. I agree with some of them, I disagree with some of them, so yeah, let me just give you mine. I think Team Liquid never really was like a great dominant regular season team, and this year, after 4 straight championships, they were really going to be fatigued, and it's really starting to show. And I think it's showing on 2 members especially, Impact and Doublelift. Funny enough, those are the 2 oldest or the 2 longest playing Team Liquid members. Doublelift has been playing since Season 1, and Impact has been playing since Season 2, so that's like 9 to 10 years of competitive play. Also, another huge problem that Team Liquid is having is adapting to Season 10, and they just really haven't adapted. They kept their old playstyle from Season 9. They're very, very bottom focused, and they like playing around turrets and dragons. So in Season 9, that was great. The dragons were very powerful, like the Inferno Drake or the Mountain Drake were game-winning buffs later on, and getting them early had a big effect on the entire landscape of how that game was going to play out. Now, that's not so much the case anymore. The dragons are weak individually, and it's not until you get 4 dragons to get a dragon soul where they're really powerful. As for the turrets, they gotten especially tanky, and it's really hard to take them earlier in the game unless you get Herald, and Team Liquid hasn't been very great about taking Herald. So yeah, they're just applying what they knew in Season 9 directly to Season 10, and it's not giving them the same result it did give them back in Season 9. And the other big thing is Broxa and how he's fitting in with Team Liquid. He really isn't. Team Liquid really wants to be that mid and late game team, that team fight focused team that they were before, and Broxa is a strong mechanical early game jungler. Doublelift himself said that TL has never had a good early game, so yeah, Broxa really isn't fitting in. I think it's really showing in the draft, not just the play. You have cases like Jensen picking Victor when Broxa already has Elise, a very early game focused champion. Like Elise and Victor don't really work well together. I will say it's not all doom and gloom for Team Liquid. Jensen and CoreJJ have been playing well, and I think the rest of the team will start playing better when they start feeling the heat of the playoffs approaching. But how they adapt to Season 10 and how they're going to fit in Broxa still are things they have to figure out. So yeah, once they figure those out, I expect them to be a top team. If they don't figure those out, then they're probably going to remain in this cluster and barely squeak into playoffs. And now we have Golden Guardians, also at 4 and 6. I'll start by saying I was completely wrong about Golden Glue. I gave him a lot of crap coming into the season, and he's been one of the better parts of Golden Guardians. Not a top tier mid, but still definitely serviceable and not the worst mid laner like I said he would be. However, Golden Guardians overall still have a lot of issues across the board. The players aren't very good at understanding how they need to crawl back onto the map when they fall behind and they don't know what to do with the vision, and they start dropping like flies on the map. Keith is very prone to this. He has 30.6% dead share. Yikes. When the support is dead on the map, you're not clearing wars or placing your own, so it affects the vision game very heavily, and I think it's a big part of what's been problematic with Golden Guardians in mid game. Closer, their import jungle, has been really good in the early game, and he's had such a huge impact. He's been one of the better junglers, but I'm starting to see that Dom is right, and he doesn't understand his role in the mid game, especially when it comes to engaging. He's engaging way too far ahead from rest of his team, or engaging fights where Golden Guardians just have no business even taking. Overall, Golden Guardians is doing better than what I expected them to do. I had them dead last, but the problems they have won't be easy to fix, and I can't see them get out of this cluster. So the final team I have in the cluster is 100 Thieves at 4 and 6. For this one, I'm just gonna let their wins speak for themselves. Let's take a closer look at them. Their first win was versus Golden Guardians, where they were losing all game, and then an amazing Elder Steal from Meteos turned the game around.
Keep track of Meteos, which goes all the way around this way into the dragon pick after what you can see on screen here, closer, right by that dragon. They go right for the jungler, all in, stuns, flashes on him to make sure they get that kill. Actually, didn't even flash, it was just the E, and then Meteos flashes back around, uses the ultimate combo with his Q, in his fight, 21 health left before that explodes. And they're able to pick up the kill. Oh my goodness.
Their second win was versus CLG. I mean, that's just a freebie. Every team in the world has won versus CLG except for Evil Genius. What are you doing? And then their third win was versus Team Liquid. And this game, Doublelift was playing Senna, which is also a freebie. And then their final win is their second win over Golden Guardians. This is the game where the Golden Guardian players inted like there was no tomorrow. You see where I'm getting at? I think 100 Thieves is the weakest 4 and 6 team. All their wins are a miracle or heavy underperformance from the enemy team. And yeah, 100 Thieves just hasn't been that great as a team. There isn't really a standout player other than Sunday. Even Meteos, the old reliable, hasn't been all that reliable. Normally, Meteos is known for his efficient pathing and strong presence as a jungler, but this split, it just has not been good. He's 9th at gold differential at 10 at minus 157. He's 9th at XP differential at 10 at minus 260. And he's 10th at CS differential at 10 at minus 3.1. I know, jungle performance is tied to lanes, but this is some of the worst early game performance that Meteos has shown in years. Rest of the roster hasn't been anything special. Stunt does look better than what he started out as, and Cody isn't showing the same kind of dominance that he did last year. I do think it has to do with laning with Stunt, but there is some individual problems too. And Ryoma. Oh, Ryoma. I understand that 100 Thieves was on a budget, but having a mid laner that is bottom 3 in the league is not going to be the way to go forward as a team. So yeah, expect 100 Thieves to remain on the bottom unless some kind of miracle happens and Ryoma and Cody start playing like gods or something. We have our final team, CLG at 10th. They're not even part of the lackluster cluster. They're 1 and 9. Their lone win came off of Soraka top versus Evil Genius. So yeah, as LS likes to say, that was a victory for Soraka, not for CLG. There was a lot of hype behind this team before the split started, and I was part of the hype train. I really thought CLG would be a lot better than what they were last year, which was the 3rd best team in LCS. But the CLG has negative synergy. The players actually make each other worse from what it seems like, and there was a lot of individual shortcomings to come with that. One of the key pickups for CLG in the offseason, Crown, was incredibly disappointing, and that's an understatement. He didn't perform well individually. He was getting smacked around by Golden Glue when they played Golden Guardians. And also, his synergy with Wiggly was just so incredibly bad. It was mind-blowing. And they ended up replacing Crown with Pobelter, but the damage had already been done. I think it's almost impossible for them to make playoffs now, and they really have to think about how to salvage the rest of the season. Figure out who can work for your team going into the summer, and also figure out why these big problems happen, and make sure you're not repeating them going forward. So, I hope you enjoyed my LCS mid-season check-in. I had a lot of fun doing this. I had a lot of fun going back and doing more research on the team and really coming together with how I feel about them, especially for the lackluster cluster of all those 4 and 6 teams. It was really fun double checking my thoughts with stats and also talking to other people and hopefully coming to a very accurate conclusion. Now, I put a lot of love into this video, so show some love back. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And one last thing, I'm not crazy, I'm just Loco. Bye!